Welcome to Eagle Eye.
What a break from Manolo!
Interviewing your favorite USA Eagles around the globe.
Tony Lamborn into the 22!
Now, here's your host, Bill Baker.
Welcome to Eagle Eye. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today I have a quick interview with Marcel Brache about the upcoming Super Rugby season for him and Western Force. But before we get into that, let's do a really quick update of Eagles overseas. We had a few things happen this past week I think are notable, and let's just talk real quick about it. First off, I heard from Tony Lamborn just a couple days ago. I was curious about his contract situation. He's been offered multiple contracts. However, he suffered a pretty nasty ankle injury recently, which is going to keep him out for 3 to 4 months and require surgery. So good luck to Tony as soon as that's over. Hopefully we see him in a USA jersey. Hopefully we see anybody in a USA jersey. Up to the Northern Hemisphere, let's talk Saracens, Capella Pippoletti. If anyone deserves a start to more starts, it's him. KP is a try-scoring machine this year. He scored 3 tries, 1 in each of the Trailfinders Challenge Cup games. Unfortunately, Saracens haven't done well overall in that, and I believe Ealing is the champion of the Trailfinders Challenge Cups. But speaking of tries, Exeter Chiefs Kate Zachary has scored her 6th try of the season this past weekend, and her teammate, Gabby Cantorner, was voted Chiefs Player of the Month. Speaking of Gabby, look for an eagle-eyed interview with her. I'm hoping to connect with her possibly next week to talk about this season and more. And speaking of eagle-eyed interviews, I also touched base. I just did an interview with AJ McGinty a couple days ago to talk about the season, his kicking game, and then such more of that. He came into the match late on Friday against Bath, only scored 2 points and a loss to Bath. So we talk about that much more, but look for that next week. All right, on to Marcel Brache interview. It's just quick, like I said, about 15 minutes. We talk about his preparations for the Super Rugby AU season. Their first match is this week against Brumbies on Friday, and Marcel is starting on the left wing. He's got a lot of new teammates. We talk about the chemistry of that, including Ireland's Mr. Reliable Rob Kearney, and also the team goals. They were winless last AU season, and obviously they're hoping to do a lot better than that. So we go into that. We also talk about the Trans-Tasman competition, the new competition that they're going to have with the New Zealand Super Rugby teams, hopefully. All that is kind of in jeopardy right now due to COVID-19 outbreaks in New Zealand and Australia in recent weeks. And the Kiwi border restrictions remain intact and tight. So, looking forward to that interview, showing you that interview. But first, let's talk about this real quick. My friend Craig Peters down in Australia sent me this cool little autographed Western Force uniform. It's really cool. It's going to go proudly up on the wall behind me at some point. But thank you so much, Craig. And he's a huge supporter of the Force and also Marcel. So thank you for tuning in. Here's the interview.
Hey, Bill.
How are you, Marcel?
Yeah, very well, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good, man. Sorry, I might just take this one.
You're wearing the wrong sweatshirt. You're supposed to be wearing like a Tampa Bay
No,
Bucks.
I'm wearing the right one. I'm wearing the correct.
How you doing? What's new?
Yeah, well, we're in Canberra at the moment. We just played our one and only preseason fixture against the Brumbies yesterday. And, results-wise, unfortunately, went down 29-28. But, like all preseason fixtures, it's really a good way for one to get some kilometers in the legs and, to test out some things that you've been working on during the preseason and just to obviously get some continuity going as a squad. So other than the result, I think those boxes were ticked, which was obviously a pleasing factor. And we'll take the learnings and lead into the next 10 days before the first fixture of Super Rugby next week, Friday.
Was that one of those, you played 4 quarters or 3 periods and pretty much everyone got some minutes, or whoever was selected that day?
Yeah, we were lucky enough that we were able to bring a large enough squad where we could test out combinations and different plans through the 4 quarters. And thankfully, everyone came through unscathed as well, which is one of the downsides to preseason fixtures is that everyone works so hard for however long your preseason is, and then you have the quite normal but unfortunate occurrence of possible injuries. And, thankfully, I think both sides came out unscathed, which is always good.
Good. Now, you guys were in lockdown for a few days as well. Did you get much training time between the lockdown and this match?
So we had lockdown from Sunday of the previous week until until the Friday, and we basically went into a restrictions process. You were allowed up to 1 hour a day for exercise, and during that time, our management staff and strength and conditioning staff got to work, and they were unbelievable in giving us programs that fit the restrictions and programs that we could do to try and keep up with both, the amount of work that we were doing from a metrics point of view, and also some soft tissue and general injury prevention, which was great to do. And it gets to a point where you're in such a schedule that as soon as you get bumped around, you can easily get out of it. And getting into a bit of a groove, but you lose a bit of focus. But we try to maintain a schedule, just considering that we were planning on hopefully just being in lockdown from Sunday to Friday. And that's, thankfully the people of Western Australia jumped on board with that, and we were able to contain the virus in that regard. And, it's we're now up to Thursday with 0 cases, and we'll reassess come Sunday.
How's the team coming together? I know there was a lot of signings in the offseason, Rob Kearney, Miotti, a bunch of names. So how's everyone working out together, and how's that going to look going into the season?
It's been brilliant, considering the number of new faces that have come into the squad, and the different timings from which they come in. I think it's been nothing but a joy to have firstly met these guys and accomplished rugby players all in their own right, but also to the way that they've just seamlessly come in and provided such a new energy, both from on field and off field, has been really great for our squad. And I think it's something that's really exciting about having these guys join our quest and taking this team forward. And they've certainly stepped up and provided the type of professionalism and class that you would expect.
Last season, obviously, it didn't turn out the way you wanted it to. What are the goals going into this season, going into your first match coming up? I mean, obviously wins would be one, but are there other specific goals that the coaching staff has put on you?
Yeah, look, there's obviously specific goals that we as a squad have internalized and look towards, and as you said, wins are one of them. We'd like to get ourselves in a position where we can get some back-to-back wins, especially have some home games at Perth, which would be great, and try and build a strong foundation there and get ourselves into a position where we're pushing for finals, and from there we can go. We can begin the next phase of those goal-setting targets. But as you know, it's quite a short season, but we just got to be really, really focused on processes and day-to-day trainings and just getting better with each game, with each training session. And we can't leave any stone unturned when it comes to that.
Now, as you mentioned, home games finally back in Perth. I'm assuming fans will be allowed at these matches, or at least a certain amount of them. Looking back at the Rapid Rugby days, the environment during your matches is amazing. The fans have got to be getting really excited to see you guys back on the pitch again.
Yeah, certainly so. And there's certainly a bit more hype because of the Super Rugby tag that's attached to our games now. We were building something great with Global Rapid, and hopefully we can try and rebuild that competition again someday. But with the current climate that we're in, we're lucky to be back in Super Rugby, and I think the fans are super excited just to have that competition be back, and sort of feels like a resurgence of the force and being back, and we've gone full circle. So it's really just a testament to the fans and their support and loyalty over these past few years, both from leaving Super Rugby to finally getting back into Global Rapid and now back into Super Rugby. So to have home games again is just really just I don't even want to say a reward for them, but it's just, something that's really special for them to see the Force play against the Super Rugby franchises again back in Perth. So if it's one game there and then we go into a hub, but we're just hoping just to get at least one game in Perth, and that's next Friday. And at the moment, we're not too sure what the restrictions are in terms of crowd limits. We'll find out more come Sunday and moving forward. So just looking forward to having a game in Perth and hopefully continuous games come through the season.
So there's 8 Super Rugby matches plus hopefully 2 more for postseason for you. But then there's these 5 other Trans-Tasman matches as well.
Yeah, so once we have concluded with Super Rugby AU, we then go into a Super Rugby Trans-Tasman competition. And we'll play 4 of the Kiwi sides, 2 of which will be in Perth, and 2 will be away. Or excuse me, 3 away. One of which being a Magic Round, which is the venue has yet to be decided. Magic Round meaning that all the teams will fly into one venue, and matches will be held throughout the weekend by the 10 Australian and New Zealand Super Rugby franchises, which is an exciting concept. Considering we're at a time and space where travel is extremely limited and in some places quite dangerous. So we'll play the Chiefs and the Highlanders in Perth. The Magic Round will be against the Hurricanes, and then we fly across, hopefully, to New Zealand to play the Blues in Auckland, and then finish off with the Crusaders in Christchurch. So all in all, a very exciting concept, and it's certainly an exciting competition, which we're hopefully will lead quite well through the season.
And a step in the right direction, hopefully. Getting more and more competitions.
Oh, yeah.
So where?
Yeah,
so
certainly so.
Yeah, where did you line up yesterday in that match? Were you at center?
Yeah, I played at 13 yesterday.
Where do you see yourself in this season? Where do you think you'll be getting the most minutes?
I think I'm in the position where I am fortunate enough to be covering certain positions. Not just in the centres. Maybe on the edge of the wing as well. Mm-hmm. We've certainly got talent across the board and a very competitive squad currently. So, if you're targeting a certain position, then you've got to be open to the idea that could change as the season progresses. These matches are extremely physical and tightly contested, and with the depth in our squad that allows us to move guys in and out of the squad consistently. And I think we're all open to the mindset that we could have a number on our back, which we're not really accustomed to, but certainly that's the preparation in the week, isn't it? To make sure that we're across all our roles and responsibilities to put our best foot forward, no matter we're playing in the position that we prefer or position that we're covering for that weekend.
And last, Marcel, how are you feeling personally? How are you holding up? You're not a young chicken like spring chicken like we talked about last time. But how's the training been going, and how are you feeling?
Yeah, actually, I feel pretty good. We had a very, very tough preseason, and I say very tough preseason, and it's just really just getting us up to the standard of what Super Rugby requires of you. Mm-hmm. And I think that after looking back at last year's both performance and results wise, we needed a good step up leading into this season, and we certainly got that over the course of the last few months. So you get a little bit worried, trying to keep up with these exciting young talents that are surrounding you. But I think as all sportsmen would attest, that competitive juice starts flowing, and you suddenly feel as though you're back to those 21-year-old days again, just being able to run for days. So I think the foundation for all of us has been set, and me certainly included in that synopsis, that I'm feeling really fresh and feeling really good and excited to hit the ground running.
Oh man, good luck this season in the Super Rugby AU. Good luck with everything coming up. Looking forward to seeing some of the matches.
Thanks, Paul. I really appreciate it, and thanks for having me on again. I love what you do, and long may it continue.
Cheers, appreciate it.